FCCPC has continued their fight against loan apps.
Yeah.
So what's the latest update on that?
So the FCCPC plans to report every erring loan app to the Google Play Store. And the idea is that don't harass your customers. If you're caught, or if there are complaints from customers that you're harassing them, you'll be reported to Google and you'll be kicked off the Play Store. And I think as of now, the FCCPC says they are treating over 400 complaints, which is actually small in my like, to me, I think it's small.
400 complaints.
Oh,
complaints. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm suspecting that maybe people don't even know. So by the way, if you're using a loan app and you are being harassed, please report them to the FCCPC. There's a website. They have a website, so you can go over and report them. So yes, that's it. And they said there are no second chances. So one strike and you're out. So you don't have a second chance to redeem yourself. So if there's a complaint by customers that you're harassing them, then you'll be reported to Google and they'll be kicked off. You'll be kicked off the Play Store. So if you remember a few months ago, Google implemented an update to their Play Store policy that stated that every loan apps in Nigeria, Kenya, and a few other countries, they have to comply with certain regulations. So, for example, in Nigeria, if you're not licensed to offer lending services, you can't have your app on the Play Store. And I think that was the same thing in Kenya. So you have to actually get like approval, basically something from the regulator in your country that says, okay, I'm licensed to provide this service. So it was a lot of like it affected how a lot of the current operators, because sometimes we don't know the number of loan apps in Nigeria. As the FCCPC said, they had licensed or kind of given approval to 173 companies. So it's not just the usual guys, Carbon, Rent Money, and all of that, Fair Money and the likes that we included. So a lot of startups are in that space, and the FCCPC doesn't want you guys harassing customers. So that's like the lowdown on everything that's going on in that space.
Yeah, okay. But what are those ethical ways that you can use to get your money? Because I know Nigerians, and I've seen different things. I've seen what people that I know personally do when they borrow money. People can be mean.
There are ethical ways to recover your money. I don't know if you've spoken about this once or a few times on the podcast, but really, there are better ways to recover your money than telling me that you're going to kill my dad. There are better ways than that, man. So first of all, don't give loans to people who can't repay the loans, which means, of course, you are not going to be lending to a lot of people. If someone can't afford to repay the loan, which now means you need to. So how do I explain it? So don't start solving a problem, so people are defaulting on loans, and then you rush to ask yourself, why are they defaulting on loans? Or how do we stop them from defaulting on loans? You should be asking yourself, why are they defaulting on loans? There's a part you say where people are fraudulent.
Yes, where they have the money and they just don't want to pay.
Yes, there's that part. But a good number of people are not able to they can't repay the loans that they took in the first place. So, for example, you're making 50,000 naira a month and you take a loan from a company, you take, let's say, 40,000 naira, and then you want to pay back in 3 months. It looks like you can handle it, but when you add the interest, you're probably going to be taking almost half of your salary every month to repay that loan. And you still have other things to cater to. So when people look at that, they may be like, well, I can't repay my loan, and then every other thing in my life suffers. So of course, there's like a responsibility on their part to not take those loans in the first place. But sometimes people really can't help themselves. So it's not left to you. You're running the business. You're the one who bears the bigger cost. If I don't repay my loan, well, right now in Nigeria, there are very few mechanisms. So if I don't repay my loan, there are very, very few repercussions. I think it was Olowe that was saying it. There are very few repercussions to you not repaying your loan. You don't really have a credit score, per se. So you don't suffer a lot if you don't repay. So who suffers? The lending company. So make sure that.
Okay, so to clarify that, we actually do have credit scores as long as you have in the banking system. You might not
Yeah.
know about it.
Yeah, so I saw a company recently
That's
that's
helping you see your
Yeah.
credit score and build it.
but that is not. So I think they don't have all the credit bureaus in Nigeria hooked up. Probably not yet, but currently, like even with that, if I move out from a few, like maybe 5-6 startups that are very very meticulous in who they give loans to, the rest just open their mouths or open their doors and give loans to anybody that comes. They don't do much KYC or much verifications before they do it. So yeah, I'm using
Really?
Carbon.
So you can take loan without at least dropping your BVN.
You can drop your BVN, but like so
I mean, BVN already contains a lot of data.
yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see, this is me personally though, once you have my BVN or my NIN, I don't see the point of asking for a bunch of other things again, considering that BVN already asked me for those things. Or maybe providers don't have access to all that data from the BVN. So
Possible.
that is the possibility. But yeah, they are, like you said, I think there are better ways of loan recovery. Be free, a startup launched, I think in 2021. They actually did that well. I saw an example of how their loan recovery process works. It's not a case of hounding you, but guilt tripping you. Like they will appeal to
Your
whatever
soul.
emotions that's inside you to repay the loans.
Even that is
They will-
not even very effective.
It's not that effective, which is why it's not just even a case of protecting the consumers. Who is going to protect the lenders? Because
Yeah.
number one, this country needs credit, right?
Of course.
A lot of economies that grow massively, a lot of companies that build massive infrastructure, and they take loans, right? The big companies you hear today, MTN, Dangote, they wouldn't be where they are today without taking like massive amounts of loans. Elon had to take loan. Almighty Elon, not almighty, but
Buy Twitter where you never pay fees.
so yeah, the credit is very, very important. But who protects the lenders when Nigerians are very, very Bolu does mention Nigerians are very wonderful people.
Yeah, I mean-
and not just loans, even to pay electricity bill, you're looking
Of
for how
course.
to tweak meter
So
that you not pay electricity. Why?
people can be very creative. Right? Like people are very, very creative. I've seen some of the things that people are doing to either evade loans or to basically get anything they want.
Like
People
pay
can
for
be very
basic amenities.
creative, yeah.
Like you want to take electricity for free. You want to now also take loans. That is not your money and not paid. So when you even say, do you know that those people that you say they can't pay loans, if it was a cooperative in their locality, you know that they will pay that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is now something that is very interesting. Money. So money does something. Yeah, it is also lending, but I think they've said doing that for. I don't know if they've said for individuals, but they use something similar to this. So, for example, you will not get a loan from them if someone doesn't recommend you. So it's not like you see our app, you download. There has to be someone recommending you, right? And they are building on the fact that okay, if I don't repay my loan, it affects everybody. So we are co-opting everyone to hold every other person accountable. And I think one of the examples that CEO gave me once was he said someone took a loan and it wasn't intentional. I think they had a health challenge and they just couldn't pay on the day that they were to repay. So the other people in the community were like, no, we can't allow this to happen. So they contributed the money, repaid money, and kicked the guy out. So he said they didn't understand why the guy was kicked out. They had to go ask, like, how's this guy kicked out? And they said because the company has a policy that says if one person defaults, it affects everybody. They're like, okay, so let's protect
Everybody.
ourselves. And one person can be the reason that we are all suffering. So I think that may be something that helps, but even that has it's not foolproof as well. I mean, there's really no method, at least currently, that is foolproof. But it could be something. But yes, you actually have a very good point. Who protects the lenders? Because most of the and I guess it's because of the kind of country we are in. It's very easy to prey on poor people, really. So I guess that's part of the reason why there's a lot of focus on the consumers as opposed to the lenders. But it's also time for us to start asking questions about who protects the lender. Then
No, I used to focus a lot on the consumer, but when I started, especially when I went to Ife, I started seeing some kind of things. I'm like, nah, Nigerians are very, very, very like, pay for trash. You rather burn it in front of your compound and mess up the entire environment.
I almost want to.
Don't measure anybody's name. No, so I mean, Nigerians are very, very wonderful, and there's a lot of entitlement going on.
Yeah.
Yes, because there really isn't any. There are very, very few consequences to bad behavior in Nigeria.
Exactly. And
at
it
every
goes
level,
from the bottom of the pyramid to the top. So you're looking at the people at the top and you're seeing them misbehave, and nothing's happening to them.
So why
you
should
can
I?
also misbehave.
There's incentive for me to do the right thing. So it makes sense.
I mean, the CBN launched the GSI, but they limited it to. So the GSI is like a global standing instruction that it's supposed to be like anybody that takes money. Let's say you're Access Bank and you're UBA.
Please, not
you borrow money from Access Bank. And I borrow money from you and I refuse to pay back, but I have money in my UBA. According to GSI, ideally, you should be able to collect money from my UBA account without even talking to me at all. So every of your BVN linked accounts or wallets should be part of the GSI. But I don't, as of my knowledge cutoff, ChatGPT. As of my knowledge cutoff, that is not available to a lot of fintech companies. Even that 173 loan apps, I'm pretty sure most of them don't have. And that thing is actually good. Well, all these people that are not paying back their loans, they have money in other accounts, right? Of course.
And it's also interesting. Like, lending companies are doing a lot of lending, but banks that can take this money out are not lending.
Yeah, for good reasons.
Obviously. So, I mean, the fact if people probably don't know a lot about this policy, but people can decide, you know what, let me put my money elsewhere. So if I know, for example, that fintechs don't have access to this, I can move my money out or keep my money under my bed in order for them not to access it. So I really think you should have that conversation. It's actually a very important conversation.
Yep. Oh yeah.